Welcome to CityWise. I'm your host, Tiana Stevens. CityWise is produced by the City of Rochester to shine a spotlight on city living at its best. Community and government leaders are joining together in a new effort to bring services and resources into 3 key neighborhoods in the city. Henry Fitz is the Director of Innovation for the City of Rochester. Dr. Leonard Brock is the Director of the Rochester Monroe Anti-Poverty Initiative. And Kyle Crandall is President of the Beechwood Neighborhood Coalition and board member of Connected Communities. These 3 entities represent a dynamic, neighborhood-focused partnership with a goal of lifting communities out of poverty, and we're happy to have you all on today. Thank you so much. Henry, what are the functions of the Mayor's Office of Innovation?
Sure. So residents out there can think of the Office of Innovation much like the city's Research and Development Department. Mm-hmm. And we help bring new ideas, new technology, new efficiencies to the city and to benefit our residents. Mm-hmm. So the mayor, we report directly to the mayor, and she sets our direction and our focus. We spend, currently we spend about 95% of our time working on the city's anti-poverty strategy in partnership with the Rochester Monroe Anti-Poverty Initiative, Connected Communities, and our other partners. Mm-hmm. And we're taking some particular focus on data and on how to deliver additional services and job opportunities to residents in neighborhoods in need.
Great. And Dr. Brock, can you give us the brief summary of the Rochester Monroe Anti-Poverty Initiative?
Yes, we're transitioning from a year of community planning to this year being the year of community action. Mm-hmm. So we were able to identify the 3 top areas of focus or priority, which are early childhood supports, which is focusing on child care and home visitation or in-home parent training, and adult mentoring navigating, which consists of 4 major components: removing social barriers to people in poverty, being able to provide robust job training, soft skills and technical, and being able to afford those persons job placements, and then providing post-job coaching. Mm-hmm. So we're looking to pivot those efforts, I want to say summer of this year. And we're working in concert with the City of Rochester Connect Communities. We have identified the 3 initial areas, Market View Heights, Beechwood, and Emma. Mm-hmm. We also are looking at everything through the lens of the design principles that came out of the work group process this summer. So the areas of structural racism, trauma, community building are the things that we're looking to address as it relates to those specific strategies. And we just released a report of those principles this week.
Sure. Kyle, Connected Communities is a brand new nonprofit. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. So basically, Connected Communities, as you indicated, is a nonprofit whose major function is to support the neighborhoods, specifically Beechwood and Emma. Mm-hmm. The mission is to break the cycle of poverty in Beechwood and Emma. And so we have just recently formed, and I can tell you that I'm really excited as president of Beechwood, because for years we have worked with residents in the neighborhood to really identify what some of the issues were that were kind of holding us back from being the neighborhood that many of us want to see the neighborhood become. Mm-hmm. And this is what we believe is our opportunity to really be able to see some resources come into Beechwood to ultimately be able to really drive and affect change. And the hope is that Connected Communities would be that kind of quarterback organization to really help us be able to do that.
Sure. So how did this whole partnership come together?
Sure. Well, I think there's a natural synergy. All of our organizations are focused on it, through a collective impact model, and we're all trying to impact multiple areas that affect people in poverty all at the same time. And I think that natural synergy exists in all our organizations, but we each bring our own strengths, I think, and I can let Dr. Brock talk a little bit more.
Right, you're absolutely right. So Henry made reference to collective impact, then there's a significant amount of synergy in the community to do something to address the issues of poverty. And the model of collective impact is having a shared community agenda, having mutually reinforcing activities, continuous communication, having a shared way of measuring success, and having backbone entities or anchor entities that are allowing for the coordination of all this work. Mm-hmm. So there's the United Way and the RMAPI initiative is actually also serve on the board of Connected Communities, and the City of Rochester has a seat as well on the board for Connected Communities. So we're doing this work collectively. And it's an opportunity for us to just work off the skills that we all bring to the table and be able to look at this from I want to say a macro level, although we each have a specific responsibility as it relates to the micro work that we do within our institutions.
Now, to achieve these goals, you guys are looking at an urban village model to pilot that in Rochester. Can you tell us how that will work?
Well, when IBM came to Rochester a few months ago, they had a set of recommendations when they engaged different neighborhood stakeholders or institutional leaders in focus group discussions or interviews. And one of their recommendations was to have resources concentrated within one neighborhood. So very similar to the work that came out of the RMAPI initiative, as well as the work of Connected Communities, is to have a not a system of social supports, but be able to have an opportunity for residents to have access to everything they need within their neighborhoods. So the concept of the urban villages, so residents don't have to go across the entire community to receive the necessary supports that will allow for them to be self-sufficient.
Sure.
So the concept of the urban village is to make sure, or to ensure, that the resources, the supports, and the opportunities that residents would need that may be impacted by poverty is centered within the proximity by which they live.
Now, community engagement was really key in planning. How did you engage the community, and how are you going to continue to do so throughout this process?
The city of Rochester is actually doing a really good job with surveying the neighborhood and doing some work with respects to that. So I'll probably I'll turn over to him.
Sure, yeah.
What questions are in the survey, Henry?
Well, the survey, there's some typical demographic information to get more understanding of the population that we're trying to serve. And the purpose is to really get a good understanding of particularly what services might be helpful for residents to have in their neighborhood that they don't feel is currently represented there, especially those that might help them progress towards employment, towards self-sufficiency and economic mobility.
Kyle, how will schools play a role in your education, right?
Sure. I just wanted to address also the whole community engagement piece, and that's something that's is present at Beechwood for many years now. We've done a lot of that, and so part of also what we're trying to do is bring other groups who are now interested in what's going on in Beechwood up to speed with some of the stuff that's already been done. And I think one of the mistakes that we've made in the past is we try to put things in buckets and address things in silos, issues in silos, and this is a little bit more of a holistic approach.
Sure.
So even as we're taking a look at the 4 pillars that Connected Communities is really established, and then it'll feed right into the education question, but those 4 pillars are mixed income housing, economic development, health and wellness, and education. And as we take a look at the issues that have come up over and over and over again over the years in Beechwood, almost all of them fall into one of those categories. So how do we really take those and, instead of put them in 4 different silos, try to come up with a holistic approach that can address multiple issues at once? Now you're going to take me to a little silo of education, and as someone who is an educator and obviously a teacher at East High School, we have gone through some very obvious changes in the sense that the University of Rochester is now considered the EPO, the Educational Partnership Organization, that is leading East High School. And we have made it through the transition, almost through year 1, and we are really hoping that the model that's been established at East with the University of Rochester will hopefully not only bring us back to the ability for neighborhood schools, but be a pipeline. We're hoping that we can get School 33 to be a pipeline in as well, and really try to bring back the focus to neighborhood schools that would really serve the children that live specifically in Beechwood, Emma, and Market View Heights, as well as others. But
what is the timeline for programs and services into the community?
Sure. Well, I think we're targeting getting things on the ground this summer. It's an aggressive timeline, but we're working hard to meet that, and I think we have all the supports we need to make it happen.
Right. So the early childhood supports and the adult mentoring strategies that we're working in concert with both Connect Communities and the I-Team. To Henry's point, we're looking to launch this summer.
Okay. So. Finally, how will you measure success, and what will the benchmarks be?
Yes. Well, a lot of the data that we're going to collect within the first year is benchmark data, but we're going to have specific indicators that we're going to track and monitor, and we're also going to look at it. It's going to be very project specific, but that's the unique opportunity we had to partner with the city's I-Team, because they have that expertise and the ability to provide that support.
Yeah, I think we want to set short and long-term goals for these projects and develop new tools to help measure not only the whole neighborhood but also individuals as they're touched by some of our new programs, and be able to measure their long-term individual outcomes even years after they've interacted with our services.
Yeah, and those indicators would be number of persons trained, number of persons employed, which are outputs, and then if we could have an impact on household income, those are things that we're going to monitor.
And if the program, when it is successful, will it move to other parts of the city?
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
This is the initial area, the demonstration project. The goal is to scale and scope. So it's a proof of concept model.
And through setting up measurement tools like that, we can demonstrate the return on investment to the state and other funders that are going to make it scalable and fundable and be able to bring it to the whole city.
Right.
And Kyle, final thoughts. Why is this important for Rochester, and why now?
Well, I think this is important because, obviously, if we can make a significant impact in a smaller area, then it's something that can be replicated in a larger area. So, we're really excited because Beechwood has been advocating and fighting for some of the resources. We know what needs to be done. That's really clear. And so now hopefully being able to get the resources to be able to make some real significant headway as we address this really difficult issue of moving the needle on poverty. And so we're really excited. We're really grateful to the city, to RMAPI, and to others that Beechwood was one of the neighborhoods that was chosen. And I think that we have a great opportunity here to see some real significant changes occur.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for coming on, gentlemen.
Thank you.
There's many ways to learn more about the Neighborhood-Focused Partnership. Phone numbers are posted on your screen. You can also dial 311 from within city limits. And residents of Market View Heights, Beechwood, and Emma neighborhoods are invited to participate in the online survey, and that's posted at cityofrochester.gov/innovation. Throughout the years, Borinquen Dance Theatre has been a gem in Rochester, nurturing the artistic, academic, and cultural development of generations of dancers. In this week's City of the Arts report, WXXI's Tom Dooley shows us how founder Nydia Padilla Rodriguez uses the discipline of dance to shape the future of youth in our community.
Dance is almost like connecting with your inner spirit. It involves you really focusing on what's happening with you from within. And many of our young people, they may not be very good with expressing verbally, but when it comes to the arts and using dance as a form of expressing themselves, spiritual development is the way I'd like to describe it. It helps them build that sense of self-esteem and confidence that because of their personality or even challenges that they may be facing in the home, this becomes like a safe haven. And I've seen so many young people come through this dance group where they have blossomed just because they've been able to express themselves through dance. If you come to one of our performances, you're going to see choreography that reflects the Taino Arawak influence, the Spanish influence, the African influence, and then modern dances to show that we have the capacity to embrace all different styles of dance. Borinquen is the original name of the island of Puerto Rico. When I started Borinquen Dance Theatre, it was to acknowledge that information, and I felt that it was very important for our younger generation to understand their history, their roots, and a sense of their culture.
I knew I was a Latina, but I didn't really start feeling it until I came to dance. I would learn what it really means to be a Latina, to be strong and powerful and independent. When you start dancing, you feel that once you're on stage and you just command presence.
Before I joined the company, I didn't feel like I had a place in the Latina community. When I came to Borinquen, I wasn't just searching for a place to dance, I was searching for a place to find out who I was as a Hispanic woman, because being Puerto Rican is a huge part of who I am, and Nydia really taught me to be confident in that.
It takes a lot of discipline to learn how to dance. It is very precise, it's very meticulous. You have to pay attention to a lot of things that you are doing both physically and mentally. So when you do that, it just automatically engraves itself in you, and it's something that you don't even notice that you carry over into the other aspects of your life.
The classes that I have is about rigor, it's about discipline, it's about being the best that you can be. You may not be the greatest dancer, but if you work so hard and you're diligent with trying to build your skill set, whether it's technique or presenting yourself in front of the public or just becoming more comfortable with who are you, to me that's success. You transfer that over to your schoolwork. You have no business being here if you're not taking care of your homework and you're not taking care of business at the school site. In order for them to be part of Borinquen Dance Theatre, they have to maintain a GPA of 2.5 and above, and also school attendance, because I do work for the Rochester City School District as an administrator, so I have access to data. And what I see happening in our community, Latino population and African American right now, we're in a very crisis situation. So if I can have an impact through the arts, then I want to be part of that mission.
A lot of things that I've learned from here, such as the discipline and the ability to take initiative and being willing to put yourself out there, I have applied in my schooling. So by doing so, I feel like the experience that I have in school is more enriching because I'm willing to grow and I'm as open as I am for my education as I am in dance class.
Say if I have a pretty rough day at school, I would just come here and I just dance and I let it all out and then feel better about myself because I work so hard. I like to encourage any young dancer, if they want to learn more about their history and their roots and learn more about dance and grow as a dancer, just come here. It's great. I love it here.